Here we go. Um, well, peace. Greetings, everyone. I did say that I was going to try to get through some of the questions from this month's topic, which was family. And, we kind of went into the direction of alpha people, alpha males, alpha females, alpha children, and the family. But in any event, there was a lot of questions that came in, a lot of comments and things. And I know why for the most part. Maybe I'll get into that. But there were a lot of questions and just statements, some statements of gratitude that came in for this month's topic. And I did say that I would try to get to them, uh, but I figured I wasn't going to be able to fit it into the Chief Speaks. So I'm doing like an addendum piece right now on the go while I'm in the midst of doing some other things. But I wanted to start off by reading first a letter that came in, and this is a letter that I wanted to read on the show, but actually I just forgot. Once I got started, so I'm going to start it off with this, and then I'm going to go to some of the questions that were asked. And again, a lot of people kind of zeroed in more on the whole alpha concept as opposed to just talking about family. In particular, the failures of men and the lack of alpha men or males. And we'll get into why. Maybe. Because I'm going to try to make this a quick video so I can then go do the other stuff I have to do. But I like this letter. It started off, Peace Chief. I wanted to show some appreciation for the show you did this past Sunday, September 11, 2016. It spoke to my inner self and the perspective we share with the external world. I've always known about my Ogun spirit as well, and I purposely suffocated it in an attempt to make people more comfortable around me. I easily intimidate people, and I don't want to scare anybody, but I can't tolerate insanity. It drives me mad. My intentions are good for my family and my people, but I'm like Ogun walking out of the woods with a machete when things aren't operating with efficiency. I see it in the workplace and in the home. I've worked so many jobs, and I think he said, and I'm always I think he said, I always outwork my coworkers. I don't do it to show off or show up. It's just my nature. Shut up and get to work! Exclamation mark. I work. My work ethic gets me promoted quickly, and people become jealous and more off put with my audacity to back up more shit than I talk. Society isn't used to the alpha male energy. I feel you. I feel DMX. I see it myself, and it's frustrating. I'm tired of PUSSYASS men and confused homos. I'm tired of women being afraid by black masculinity while asking for strong black men. They're insane, and it has lack of peace. Okay, so I'm going to go to a question. Well, it was kind of more of a request from Golden Flower. I'm assuming Golden Flower, you're a female, so I'm going to say she. If you can talk about the alpha female and how I don't have to assume, and how we are viewed, what is the true role and what type persons we should entertain. Also about blended families. Thanks. In fact, the blended families piece, and of course I'm not sure what blend you're speaking of. It's different kind of blends. But I did do a show on blended families. I was a guest. It was a while ago, man, and it was it was kind of a raucous show. It was like a panel. It was like six of them. It was just one of me. But if you Google it, just put my name. It might be under Haru Asana New or Chief Yuya speaks about blended families. I did a whole show on that. And Golden Flower, you're considering yourself an alpha. Before I answer anything, I would like to know why you consider yourself an alpha. So please leave another comment and explain to me why you're an alpha. Okay, I want to know that, because you're also the one who left a comment on the last video where you said it's very windy, but I'm still listening anyway. And then you left another comment before that you deleted. I thought I didn't see it. I saw it. I'm not going to say what it was, Okay, but you're not starting with a clean slate, golden flower. All right, so I want to know. Give me a qualifier before I answer a question. Referring to you as an alpha woman, I want to know that you are one. Okay, so there was one in particular. Low the scholar. This brother I like, man. He usually, I mean, he left a short one this time, but he usually leaves some pretty insightful comments. Next time you guys are looking at one of my videos and he leaves something, check it out. He usually adds a nice little something. When I did the four archetypes, dealing with the wizard, the thief, the priest, the warrior. He left a nice little piece on that, and I'm gonna assume it had to do with video games or role playing games because that was the kind of language that he was using. But he expounded on it pretty nicely, from where I had left it. But he just said, "Good show, Chief." It made me think about a lot of events and experience I've had in my life and how it affected my journey in manhood. Um, Finally fit Memphis. The whole truth! Exclamation mark. See, I don't remember which ones were questions, which ones are just statements. I'm just going to go through a few of them. I'm not going to go through all of them. That was great, and I'm going to watch it again. I enjoyed the part where you spoke about the numbers and the lack of angles for 1 and 0, but two directions with 2 and so on. I would like to hear that more in depth. Okay, no problem. So our calendar is already filled up for this year, but what I'll do is I'll do an addendum video on the numbers. Okay, so I got you. Finally fit. All right, I'll put it on my task list. I'm not sure when it's gonna come out, but I'll do a numbers show for you. In fact, I'll speak about it in a minute. There's something I was gonna do with that anyway, so you might get that anyway. I would like to hear that more in depth. We do lack alpha men, and it's growing more and more the lack thereof, with women taking that position, as you stated. I've had to take that position in previous relationships, and first starting men can't even make a decision on what to do or go on a date. They are so used to being led by women. My question is though, okay, good question. My question though is, how can our real men be led back to being an alpha male, or is that even possible? Okay, great question. And I remembered, I knew there was a question in there. So, you can't lead, a woman can't lead a man to do anything. Okay, nothing. So, I don't even care if it's your son. You cannot lead your son. The only thing you can do with a man or a male is to help to create the environment that will, protract their manhood or protract their alpha status. So for instance, if let's say something, I've been in this situation, something needs to be fixed in the house or something like that, or something's going on, and as a mother you turn to your son and say, okay, what are you going to do? We can go to, I remember when I was young, having to put together a swing set, right? I didn't know anything about swing set, right? And I had to pour the concrete, dig the holes, pour the concrete. Nobody showed me how to make concrete. This was before YouTube videos. I just had to figure it out. I had to go to the store, and I wasn't even a teenager yet. Had to go to the store and ask, the man in the hardware store, this is what I'm doing. How do I do this? How do I do that? Had a wheelbarrow and had to carry, So what it did was, it wasn't that I had an auntie, because I believe I was doing this for my a relative, for their young daughter. It was for a birthday party, and they wanted to have a swing set for the party. So, but no one, which at the time I thought was a little cruel, but looking back, I see what they were doing and the advantages that came. And an older man, one of my relatives, came and helped me when I was digging the hole, and I had put the poles in there first, I had the whole concrete thing messed up. And I was gonna dig the hole, fill it back in, and put the concrete around the post. And he came out, I was like, yo, what you doing? And he was like, no. Come, let me show you. So he, we dug it back up. I learned how to pour and make concrete, how to, plant posts properly, how to put it on a slant so that way the water comes off of the, off of the base. So what happens is, alpha men or young men learn from other men who are further along the path. Not only do they learn from men who are further along the path, they learn from trial and error. So for instance, Had I not have been, he'd not have seen that in the backyard, and I would have put it, yeah, the children would have played on it. They would want to swing or something like that, and the pole would have been shaking and coming loose. Then I would have said, oh, I did this wrong, had to go back and do it again, right? Trial and error. But the best thing that women can do, even if it's your mate, is to get out the way. If there's an opportunity or situation that allows for that man to step forward and do what he does, just get out the way. Stop talking. Stop suggesting. I'm just suggest. Shut up. Stop suggesting. Go do something else. And don't, like, let's say if the car's broke down on the side of the road. Don't, well, honey, you want me to call AAA? Or if he's trying to figure it out, don't come out and say, honey, I know you're really stressed out. You're tired from work. I'm going to take this load off of your back. I'm going to call. That means they don't even know what it means. If you focus on that, then it's going to create a nice character formation that he's going to be able to lock into, because you're maxed out in womanhood. So now if you're maxed out in womanhood, you don't have time to try to be the man, to try to see if your testicles will drop. You don't have time. I'm too busy doing the woman thing. Just like me as a man or any other man, you come to me with woman stuff, what are we going to say? I don't really want to hear about your shoes and, taste this, honey. I tried the different spices. Who cares? Just give me the damn food. I don't care, really. By the time I put my because I'm putting hot sauce on whatever you made. By the time I put hot sauce on, it all tastes the same anyways. It's greasy with hot sauce. Just give me the food. You see? So, you'll understand those things and be less offended by them if you're involved in the work of your womanhood. Then you'll be able to see the lines more clearly. But it's hard to see him if you leaning over and he says, stop, come on, I got this. But I'm just saying. See, those buts that always kind of get you in trouble. So I would say that would be the best thing you could do there. Just move back, get out the way. And if you got a guy who's like, you ain't gonna suggest something, you see me out here trying to push this car, you ain't gonna help me. No, I ain't gonna help you, man. No, I'm not gonna suggest anything. I'm gonna go inside where it's warm or where the AC is. You're gonna stay out here and do your man thing. I'm gonna go inside and do something womanly. No. You see, and even if it's your son, because they may have years of programming, understand that with manhood, there's a lot of neurosomatic programming that goes on. A lot of, especially as black men, we have this programming where, becoming a man or being a man is very painful, because there's a lot of experience and events that are associated in our lives, and even just in our observations. Obviously you could tell with all of the killings that are going on right now that are all across social media. So that lets me know if I stand up to be a man, it's gonna hurt. And what happens is that there's a falsified association that goes on, because you start to believe that manhood is the pain, not white supremacy, racism creates the pain. You see, it's like when you have a child and you tell the child, stay away from the stove, you'll get burnt, right? And you keep telling them that, and they don't listen, because they don't listen, and they touch the stove and they burn their hand, right? Now in their mind, they're going to create an association that the oven is hot, it burns, not the fire on the oven burns. So now it creates an irrational, maybe even a phobia, but it creates an irrational and falsified association with something, and that's not really it, you see. So a lot of times, even with manhood or becoming a man, some men have gone through situations where when they did stand up or did try to approach that, something unpleasant happened that now created a subconscious programming. And the mind is always in pursuit to stay away from that thing which is unpleasant or that thing which is uncomfortable, you see. So part of it is like letting a man go back through the burn or something so they can understand and know it wasn't that. It wasn't the stove that burnt you. The stove was on and you put your hand in the fire. You could do it with a lighter, you could do it with a match, you could do it with a candle, But by itself, the oven was not purposely trying to hurt you. You did this because of the decisions that you made. You see, so I would say that in terms of that. I know that was a long answer, but I'm also in the while I'm answering yours, I'm answering about 3 or 4 other questions that I had here, so I can skip around a little bit. Allison McCoy, new student, she said, "Thank you, Chief, for your honesty. I appreciate the part you shared that due to the lack of alpha men, women are having to play a role that is not designed for them." You don't have to play that role. You're choosing to play that role. And it's not just because of the lack of alpha men, it's because you like the role, because it feels empowering. That's one of the things I want to address, because a lot of the comments that came in was surrounded that. Yeah, thanks for bringing that out, Chief. Now we, because of this, we're forced to be. You're not forced to be that. Let's keep it real. A lot of you enjoy the energy of being an oppressor. Like don't get it. Stop trying to always be the victim. And I'm not talking about you, Allison. There's like a bunch of other ones that were leaning in that direction. Okay, you're not the victim all the time. A lot of times, see, that's become a sickness in our community. You have these effeminate males, and you have these females, and really they're the same thing almost, but they crave for attention and notoriety. And they've discovered that if they can't become notable people, or people who are famous even through talent, then they can do it through the popularity or the popularizing of their victimization. So you talk to a lot of people, whether they be effeminate males or whether they be Amazonian women, their story always centers around victimization. And that's how you can tell you're dealing with someone who's got an imbalanced ego, because the ego is only alive through infliction. The ego is created really not just through history, but it's created through infliction and pain. So that's why the I, when people always say I, it's always, you did this to me and I had to, and this happened to, it's the ego. It's always going to be a pain story first. It's always going to be a victimization story first. And then it may be a story of conquering or overcoming that victimization. But the ego is sustained through pain. Okay? So just be careful with that. And again, I'm not getting on you, Allison, but I'm just saying a lot came in like that. And I was like, here we go. Because notice the show that I did after that one, where I didn't go in on the beta males, had half the views and less than half the comments. People just weren't really paying attention to that one. I don't want to watch this one. So that shows you something. When you felt that this was a show where, bluntly, I was dogging black men, the pom-poms and the cheering went up. But then when I was speaking about formation and the formation of family, it was quiet. It was crickets. Okay, so pay attention to that. Understand that the things that I knew that was going to happen. The things that I'm saying, I'm not like, look at what they did. I've been doing this for over 26 years now, so I know the patterns now. And the neural programming, it's based on social programming. This is how society has programmed you to act. So it's across the board for the most part. So a lot of times the things that you may do, though you may feel they're very unique, and let me tell you about what happened to me. I already know what happened to you. I already know what you're thinking. I already know what you're getting ready to say, because I've studied the source of the programming. You see, I don't have a falsified association with what the issue is. The issue is not black men. The issue is not black women. The issue is not even the white man or the white woman. It's not even that. Be honest with you, that's not even your greatest enemy. You see? So there's a falsified association with where the source of your problem actually is. And that's created an internal phobia that nobody speaks about, so it goes unchecked and it gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And then the way it hides itself is inside of a victimization story. You see, and it's not to say that some of those things didn't happen. Like, it's not to say that there's not males out there who hate females and just want to destroy them. It's not to say that there's not females out there who just love to be plantation bed wenches and just want to side with the oppressor to kill black men. Yeah, that exists. It's not to say that there are not racist white males out there that are bent on your genetic distortion. I don't even want to say distortion, or that there are racist white females out there who are bent on revenge. That's a deeper one, but another time. So I'm gonna keep moving through these because I was trying to make this a very quick video. Um, okay, here's one. Salamu, Chief. Must be a We'll get into that. Just what the doctor ordered. More fire for the people. Of course, this is a SAR I'm in. We need to be black manhood. Also, what approach should we take towards our women that say, okay, I had to take a little break there because my battery went out. But I'm gonna pick up where I left off. Okay, so Salamu, Chief. This is from Asar Amin. Just what the doctor ordered. More fire for the people. We need to be purged and purified. I like where you were speaking with us about focus and the science of the zero and the one. Vast subjects, I know. But I'd like to hear more about how we can go about reclaiming our balls and our hearts and the proper movement needed for the alphas to navigate the constant attacks on black manhood. Also, what approach should we take towards our women that say they want us but are really combative and unruly? Is it the Shahrazad Ali approach, or is it the Matthew 10:14 shake the dust from our combat boot approach? So, in my humble opinion, another excellent question, and I'm going to narrow it down to the two questions that were presented. And first he said, I'd like to hear more about how we can go about reclaiming our balls on our hearts and the proper movement needed for the alphas to navigate the constant attacks on black manhood. Okay, so in terms of that, I'm going to be covering that moving forward. That was one of the things that I had pledged this month, and really kind of just mentating on the topic, because when I do the shows for the month, that's pretty much all I figure out as the months go. There's a certain movement. Now, what parts of the movements am I going to speak on? And when I was reflecting on it, I said, okay, we really need to not just talk about being an alpha, because there's some things that it's hard to really explain. I can show you better than I can tell you, or I can bring you through a series of process where you can show yourself. So I would say in terms of that. Now, as far as the constant attacks on black manhood, well, what do you do when you're attacked? You defend yourself. So that one's pretty simple. Now, if the question is, how do you defend your manhood? Sometimes you have to get down to more primal measures or more primal instincts. Like for instance, if somebody goes to kick you in your groin, you wouldn't say, what should I do? You jump back, you do this or whatever, but you know what to do immediately. And one of the reasons you know what to do is because you're very aware of it being there. So how aware are you of your manhood on a daily basis? Are there moments where you sacrifice it and give it up passively? Are there moments when you should say something, like the person who I wrote in before said, he's kind of tuned himself down in order to make other people comfortable. Well, in doing something like that, you're not going to be as aware of your manhood. You're more aware of the mechanisms and the restraints and the muzzles that you've put on to make sure that manhood does not grow. So one of the first things you could do, know what you're defending, know what needs to be defended. A lot of times we don't know what aspects of our manhood are being attacked. We don't even know when we're being attacked. Sometimes things happen. We just get a funny feeling like, like you might get on an elevator, let's say as a black man. We'll wait till that goes overhead. I don't like shouting, and I end up having it. Well, I don't shout. Men don't shout. Men holler. I don't like hollering. So you might get on the elevator, and let's say a white woman comes onto the elevator. One of the things you may immediately do is kind of shrink into the corner, or smile. Like she'll give you the, and you'll do the, hey. I have a lot of people listening around the 70s. Some people want to spend their entire life eating paste and finger painting. That's what they're going to be at. Those kids in the back of the school that push around a lunch cart, and ride the other size bus. Some people are happy to be back there, and that's where they want to die. They want to die back there. And then some people, they want to examine their life a bit more. They want more out of their existence. They want more out of their living than what has just been handed to them. And despite what you say to them, that belief is going to be there. I'm gonna tell you something. A good movie to check out. Check out Sausage Party. Check out Sausage Party. Okay. It's an animated movie. Now, when you watch it, you're gonna think Chief was playing with me. I'm not. Just check it out, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But no, that's got to stop, because that's become so constant now that, like, there's practically been an entire movement surrounding how to convince your partner. Come on, man. Time out. Time out. If she's a knucklehead, if she's hard-headed, leave her. And you have all these discussions and everything, and she's fighting with you, and she finally comes over begrudgingly, and then you find out, it's not really about Islam for me, it's about this. She wasn't even worth it. You're not even the same pedigree. If you woke up and then you put the Epsom salts under her nose and you put them on the repeatedly, and she's still not, when she wants something else, she'll probably come up, but you're going to notice that she's always going to be 20 to 30 steps behind you. And that goes for the males as well. And I'm gonna doubly emphasize that for the females. And the reason why is because a lot of times you guys are unsure about the males that you're with, but you sex them like you are sure. You let them ejaculate inside of you with no condom, no birth control, nothing, like you're sure that they're really kings. Or whatever it is term you guys like to use. I don't really say that, but so the problem with that is that you'll make a decision that will affect you for a lifetime. Now you have a peasant's baby inside of you. We really need to get out of that. We're all kings and queens. Look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself you're a king. You're not. Not everybody is. Some people aren't. Honestly. So you'll have that garbage inside of your womb now, and you'll never be the same again. Ever. Strong enough. Some are stronger than others, So it goes even doubly for the females, when if you even have to introduce it, and she's trying to bring him into consciousness, or thinks that if he talks to me, he'll wake up. But either way, you're still leading him. They don't understand the full framework of Anu. They don't understand the intricate aspects and totally where we're going with this. No, you got to do all that convincing. You're crazy, because now it's going to create a hesitation every time you want to do something for the family. You're going to hesitate. How's she going to take this? How am I going to? Well, I want to eat this, and and you say, well, Dr. Sebi says we can't eat that. You want to eat carrots? Dr. Sebi said don't eat carrots. I need the carrot. So I get that question a lot. And it goes deeper. So let me see if I'll go through just a few more, because there's a lot. Peace and blessings, Chief Yuya. Thank you for your honesty. I don't see a reason to be offended by what you are saying, this is from Nicole D'Souza, by what you are saying or representing. If teachers are ever supposed to be effective, they need to be able to tell the truth without being hindered by the potential denial of that truth, or how telling that truth could arouse hatred in those who need to understand that truth. I have been listening for only a couple of months, and I really admire and appreciate what you are doing. Thank you, Sister Nicole. I think we've spoken. I think I did a reading for her. They are Justin every time, right? So I'm gonna speak over the car alarm. And Justin told us we were screwing that up and we better stop. Thank you for that, Justin, by the way. And yeah, Fire Night. Yeah, from your Rastafari brother, Ashe. Yeah, brother, yeah. Chief, you bad. When you talk the truth, it's wholesome. All right, and there was more, but I don't want to go through all of them. I just kind of wanted to hit some of the main questions. But primarily, like I said, a lot of people felt that maybe this is an opportunity to do some male bashing, and that's a part of the program you need to check. How does it feel when you're talking crap about your complementary sex? Be honest with yourself. Like as a man, when you sitting around and you like, yeah, these sisters are crazy and da 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 da, and now they got guts, they ain't even got nice bodies anymore, and and the weaves, and don't get me started on the weaves. You having all of that. How do you feel? Think about that. Does it feel good? I bet you it does. Pay attention. See, your feelings are a compass to your direction. You don't use your feelings to, well, I feel like I should buy this car. It doesn't, not like that. You use your feelings to determine how your mind is motivating you see. And if you're talking about your natural counterpart and it feels good to destroy them or to bring them down, you really need to check where that idea is coming from. And the same thing for you females. If it's comfortable for you to immediately say, well, these men out here, this and that, and they don't respect us women, and then and that, and the problem is they all a bunch of little boys, they don't know how to beat me. If that feels good, if that's the only time you get excited, when your energy raises up, or if you're on a date and it comes an opportunity for you to start male bashing, and that's when you finally become interesting and have something to say, you need to check that. I'm telling you, you need to check that. And if somebody says something like this, well, can you say something positive about the comment? You've been got. I guarantee you've been got. Because again, it's your associative programming. It's your neuro-associative programming that connects you with a certain action or certain decision and a feeling based on it. So if I say, the black man, and immediately you're like, or if I say the black woman, and it's like some people don't want to examine those questions. Some people don't want to even go that deep. They're not interested. Some of you are going to get left behind because of that, because of your laziness of thought, because of your unwillingness to really make decisions that bring out the greatest you and that really add value to the world and add value to the people around you. You're just going to be left. I have to be honest with you. You're not going to be carried. The visceral disdain and insidiousness that you direct towards your counterpart, you got to understand that that's what you're sending towards yourself. We all have a male and female energy inside of us. So if you have a disdain, if you're a female, have a disdain towards men, if you're a male, you have a disdain towards women, that's a disdain that you have towards that energy that operates inside of you. So whenever that energy comes up, you're going to shut it down in the same way. So as a male, you may wonder why you're having trouble being creative. Listen to music nowadays and listen to how they talk about females, and listen to the lack of creativity. Well, what do you think the abstract ideas and the deepness are coming from? They're coming from your feminine aspect. And when you're like totally ignoring that, or you're trying to co-opt it in a very distorted manner, then it's going to screw with your art. And the same thing on the other side. Women, you ever wonder why you never know what you want, never can come up with a good idea, have no direction in life, and then you turn around and say, these men, I'd rather be by myself. Well, you're disrespecting and hating the male inside of you. So therefore, you're also disrespecting and hating the guidance and the light and the knowledge inside of you. There's a Europe Pataki. Actually, it's not even a Pataki. It's an Oriki. It's a song. Okay, but it's not like a temple song per se. It's a cultural song, and I'm not going to sing it. But basically, the words go. This person lives alone, this person cooks alone, this person eats alone, this person sleeps alone. What kind of person is this? Only an animal lives alone. Okay, that's the translation into English, right? But it's a song, people sing, right? So you get a kind of an idea there, right? So that whole, I just be by myself, I'm better off by myself. You're not better off by yourself. You're living like an animal. What kind of person would every night sit down at the table by themselves, or eat in their bed, or eat on their sofa, or not have someone to fulfill their biological desires sexually when needed or desired. And you think about these things, I know they seem like, well, that's why I use the vibrator, or I just whack, I wank. You know, that's animalistic, man. No, no, no. That's not divine. That's not what we do. So, I just wanted to go over some of the questions and some of the answers before the Q&A this Sunday. But please, definitely, with this video, and it will help them for the Q&A. Anything, all the bugs are coming out now. Any thing that I've said, any quotes that are in your mind based on what I said, or any questions, definitely please leave them underneath the video. I'll get to them. Some of the other videos, there have been questions asked. I'll get to those as well. It just takes me a moment. This time I try to do it while I'm on the go. So I'm gonna try to do this a couple more times and see how this works for me. I'm always trying little things. But yeah, just, give some consideration to that when you start to think about the complementary sex and some of the angst, the issues that you may have with them. What kind of feelings rise up? Is it really anger? Or do you enjoy getting it out and calling it, well, I'm venting? Is it really that? Or is it that you've now come to associate pleasure with division and pain with conjoining? So when I say something like, oh, you need to go get yourself a woman, man, that's why you can't make anything happen, how does it really feel when I say that? Are you really like, I got burnt, like ODB got burnt by gonorrhea twice? Is it that type of thing? So you really want to monitor your feelings in this time, for just search your heart. Pay attention to what your God is doing when these ideas come up, you see, because there may be something inside of that God, shit, that may be confusing you, because maybe there's an imbalance inside of there. So your association with certain ideas or with certain people on the planet or certain concepts may be distorted. Okay? It may be distorted. So, October 14th, I'm going to be releasing the 14 keys. And I also, 14 days after that, will be releasing a class on the 14 keys, getting into the principles a little bit more, but more so implementation and application will be the class. Okay, so keep a lookout for that, as well as there'll be like a little video that I'm going to put out on the 14 keys. I already have it. I'm just, trying to decide what parts of it to put out. All right, so it was supposed to be August 14th, but it's okay. It still will be the 14th, but it'll be October 14th. And really, what took the time, what takes the time with all my books is not writing them. I write quickly. I mean, literally. I mean, I write 300-400 pages in like 7 days, 7-8 days. I'm done. It's the condensing, because I try not to do works where if I put them in front of someone, because I do it too, a person will start reading like, oh, this is good, but then they're looking at how much they have left, and it's like, oh man, I still got 300 pages left, and my time is not like that. I try to give people stuff where they could read it on a strong end. Start Saturday, you're done Sunday, or you're done Saturday, you just want to read it all day. But it's written like poetry in the sense that everything I write is very encoded. So you can come back and come back and come back. You're going to keep finding things. So that art of it, that's what actually takes so long. So the book is not a big book. It's a book that you could read in a day or less, but there's an art to it, okay? And I'll get into some of the art a little bit more for those of you who take the class as well. That will be, of course, offered through Sadulu House, all right? And that will be available October 28th. So October 14th, the book, October 28th, the class, okay? So tomorrow, make sure you call in 347-945-7680, 11 a.m. Eastern, for the Chief Speaks open panel, student open panel. It's every last Sunday of the month. And, share your thoughts, share your ideas of, how this segment affected you. And again, for those of you who have signed up for our New Life Global and want to be a part of the ministry, we have your information and we're just kind of sorting through everyone. But I want to also add a little notification addendum. As far as participating on one of the ministries, get through our new spiritual training phase one first. Okay, and the reason why I'm making that a requirement is because phase one is ministry to self. So how could you really minister to someone else if you haven't taken care of yourself first? Okay, so please make sure you get through that. Also on Mondays, there's for the women. There's a hangout call that they do. You can get some information on that as well. Calling into the community radio show, or even tomorrow, you can ask about that on the students panel for Chief Speaks. Okay, I think that's about it. There's a whole bunch of other stuff going on, but you'll see as we go. I'm going to try to do these more of these little addendum videos because sometimes there's questions that come in or comments that I don't get to, but I think it does help people to kind of hear what other people are feeling and thinking as well. All right, so hopefully you guys will call in tomorrow. I'll be doing some work, so I actually won't. I'll try. I'll see maybe I can call in on Chief Speaks, but I'll try to see if I can listen while I'm doing what I have to do. And if not, we'll speak and we'll talk soon. All right. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, comment, and like. I haven't said that in a long time because I always forget. Especially those of you who've been checking out the videos on Sedula House. Please, on the Sedula House channel, subscribe, comment, and like. See, I almost forgot. You can tell I'm not really a YouTuber. I got to get my groove. I haven't found one social media outlet yet that I'm like, okay, that's it. But I'm working through it. All right. But in any event, thank you all for your questions and your comments. Keep them coming. Please keep them coming. This is I like it more this way. Getting that interaction and that feedback from you. And I like to know what aspects when I'm presenting information. It's always good to know which parts resonate, because I know which parts that sometimes I share that I really want you to get. So I may say it 3 or 4 times, but it doesn't mean that's the one that resonated. So it helps me to understand the psychology of the people who are listening, the people who I'm ministering to. All right, without having to put questionnaires all over the websites. All right, everyone. So I'll see you all tomorrow. Chief Speaks, 11 a.m. Eastern. You can call in at 347-945-7680. All right? Enjoy the rest of your day.